Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our Monday, July 15th Conservation Commission meeting. We are in hybrid. We are in conference room 3 today, if anybody online is coming in. To let you know that. With us tonight, we'll start on this side. Andy
Reardon, Dennis Clark,
Chris Pratt.
Norm Cheever, Rod Zoll.
All right. And welcome. We can look at our minutes from July 1st.
That's fine.
Safety compliance for no still consequence lost in transit. Since this one. Few meetings ago.
Okay.
So we just
Right.
need to know.
Yeah.
And then I see other conditions. Last meeting, so I don't think we signed that order of conditions on that.
Can you sign that?
No.
Can you sign that?
Can you sign the order?
Does it matter?
No, it's not his property.
It's not my
It's
place,
in
yeah.
the same neighborhood, but
Yeah.
Okay, so you're.
It's on good.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the person I looked at. If you- This one.
and then I don't think he signs that,
So,
I don't think he signs the order of conditions. He wasn't in the last meeting.
okay.
Don't sign.
Don't
Remem-
sign?
No, he wasn't in the last meeting.
Okay.
That's for College Highway, the multi-use buildings.
I'm on.
Well,
You
then
were
let
here.
me walk around.
Yeah, I was here.
So we know
You can
who gets to sign what, how you're correcting the minutes.
Mhm.
How's that? It's a
Order of
reason
conditions.
for lots for that. Then we have to have it. They lost their original, so it's a reason.
Yeah, I'll take a motion on the minutes of July 1st, if anybody is ready.
I have one change to make on page 3. Top of the page, LPP Suffield. Like to strike first selectman and replace it with Arone.
Jason Flynn,
Yes.
Okay.
Page 3, you said? Okay.
Yeah, anyone else?
No.
Okay. I'll make a motion. No, I'll make a motion to approve with that one edit.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Andy?
Aye. Dennis, I.
Chris, I.
Nor I.
No, I.
All right. Okay, anybody have any public comments? We'll move to public comments at this time. Mrs. Pratt, say your name and address, please.
So Michelle Pratt, 152 for sure. Oh, yeah, I'm emotional, but it's like we're still meeting about the North Pond issues, which is very heartbreaking with everything that we did to preserve that property. To see these things that are going on over there now. It's been going on for a while, but now it's really come to a head, and people are up there talking about how they're not safe in their homes because there are people on their properties, there are people parking there, there's violence in their front yard. And I'm heartbroken. Heartbroken to see all the treatment, and I know everyone's trying really hard. But for right now, the select board did vote to shut down the parking lot. No parking all along Southwood. I'm definitely in favor of, it needs to happen. But I'm hoping whatever comes out of these, everyone can work together to come up with a solution that's not permanent. Because when we worked for that property, we wanted everybody to be able to be there and enjoy it for passive recreation. And I wouldn't want to see that be something that's in place for a long period of time. But I also don't want to see things going on like they are now, where there is drinking out of control, broken bottles and ruining the landscape over there. And certainly never want to see what we saw in that video, which is devastating. And so I know they're gonna be coming to this board to help them with ideas of how to work together, how to remedy some of the situations over there. And so appreciate your work towards that. And try and pull this thing together for our town and make it the property that we want it to be eventually. So.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just want to say to Michelle, we support her.
I'm
She
sorry.
worked so very
Yeah,
hard.
you just have to,
I'm sorry, Andrews Pine Road. We support you, Michelle. You worked so hard on that. And I don't think anybody expected to go on what goes on. I know.
some things are under our control, but we'll try to definitely get better handle on certain things.
We have to hire more police, so is that what
Um,
that's their job to, I mean.
The citizens
People
shouldn't
say,
be having to do anything. I did get a text from one of my friends who was a security officer. Who said, hey, we're available, you know, that might be another option, having a security guard company work there on the weekends or something like that. Just to supplement our police force.
Or maybe the state do more.
I don't know.
Our police force is too busy to be able to take care of people out in the street fighting, right? That's what we're saying.
People need to call the police in the first place, I think what needs to happen, I think that part of, you know, you see something, say something kind of thing, needs to,
All the
Happen
people
quicker.
out there saw it, didn't report that to the police. That was,
yeah, I'm not really sure when it happened, but eventually it did.
it was,
I think they're talking though in general enforcement,
Yeah.
like people, they don't see a lot of tickets getting written or people being arrested or fines. They're seeing people being spoken to and given warnings, is what the comments were. I don't know that, I don't know. the validity of that.
a little bit of deterrent would be nice, you know,
Yeah.
to some kind of thing to stop people from doing it by giving them a fine or a penalty or
Right.
something.
Right,
Right.
yeah,
What the law is, right?
yeah, we've always felt that way, that there needs to be the enforcement part, you know, we have the rules, but the enforcement. Needs to do a little bit more, I mean, but people need to call to let people, you know, let the law enforcement know what's happening at the time. so they can get there.
When I first moved to Southwick, people told me, but we can't fix anything up, we can't have anything in Southwick because the kids are gonna ruin it anyway. And I said, that's not a good way to live, that's ridiculous, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I'd hope that things would change by then, but,
So we have some ideas, we'll be discussing some ideas of some things that we might be changing over there as far as different things, maybe a little bit later on.
designating parking places. and-
Yeah, maybe
So-
reducing the number of parking spots so that there won't be large gatherings of people. Hopefully if they do put the no parking along the street, that'll be more enforceable. Then, smaller groups probably aren't going to be having the big parties, like they did with the graduation. Last day of school party in the spring. What happened on the weekends, the weekend is really the biggest problem,
They're saying people are getting dropped off, they're saying people are Ubering and lifting to the property.
Yeah.
The residents.
I'm not sure how to handle that one.
No, I know.
There are a lot of issues that, are difficult to solve. But there are rules over there. Most of them are enforceable because they are laws. Some of them are not laws, but they're rules of the property. So like rope swings, for instance, it's a rule, but it's not a law. We were over there one day. We told the sheriff's department that the kids aren't supposed to be swinging there, but they couldn't enforce anything because it's not a law. So they could not tell them they couldn't swing there, but they stayed there and watched for a while, make sure they were safe, whatever. But then, they left and kids left. But it's, that enforcement that has to happen, but we also have to have the teeth in some of these rules that allow the enforcement. So we're gonna be looking into some of those things as well. Maybe we need to start, creating some new bylaws as far as those things go. I've talked to Sabrina about the rope swing bylaw. But, that has to go through its meeting. It doesn't just happen from what we decide here. You all get to decide, weigh in on that. But
This is kind of similar to them, we put the rail trail in. There was so many people that were complaining about it, but it turned out to be a great thing, just had to work out the bugs.
we weren't definitely prepared for the number of people utilizing the lands. I think the people from the state said it's well loved, which means a little overused in their terms. So we might be trying to look at ways to reduce that usage from that side, from the parking lot area, the street side. I'm not exactly sure what's gonna happen yet. And we still are in open comment. Does anybody have a comment that just came in? Scott, you gotta say your name and address, Scott.
Scott Snyder first, 25 Castle Street.
Did you sign in, Scott?
No, I have not.
Okay,
I
I'm
was just wondering who was in charge of enforcing the CR
Well, the
there.
police are always in charge of enforcement. That's the enforcement of our towns from the police department.
Okay,
But as far as this, the CR, we monitor things that are in the CR. If people don't call the police for things that are happening over there, they're not gonna enforce things like that.
The parking area is not even in the conservation restrictions.
Correct.
That's excluded from it.
That's a town entity.
my main concern is not really about the parking, it's about kind of enforcing, like, no drinking, no fires.
Well, yeah, lots of, any
mean,
town,
The cops do go out there.
Yeah.
But it seems like everybody just gets handed a verbal warning all the time,
Well-
there's no penalties.
Right.
If there were penalties or fines, maybe people wouldn't be doing
Make
it
a difference,
every
yeah.
weekend,
Right,
yeah.
Yeah,
The sheriff- I
or they'll
watched the
find another
sheriff-
place at least.
I watched the sheriff out there this weekend. I was skiing. I ski every weekend, Saturday, Sunday. I'm out there from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, ski, wakeboard, surf. And so I see it all, but those people were there since 10 o'clock in the morning. And I've seen the sheriff come by in the afternoon when I was out there relaxing on my boat. And the sheriff cruises on by, tells them to put out their fire. But then as soon as the sheriff leaves the lake, they're starting to fire back up. Now, that was the same group of people that attacked the residents at the top. Now, if the sheriff probably would have said, hey, listen, you're not supposed to be drinking out there, you're not supposed to have a fire out there. What about this blue tent, you know? We have to fine you for that.
Right,
Maybe the people would have left earlier
Mhm.
and it wouldn't have escalated,
Right.
but it just doesn't seem like I mean, even on the lake. I think there's gotta be a point where we need to stop giving verbal warnings, cause I ski every weekend and I can't tell you how many times I had. 3 people I skied with this weekend and none of us got a complete skiing, a wakeboarding. We actually ended up switching to surfing so we could give everybody waves because we couldn't ski. People were cutting in front of us, people were doing donuts in front of our boat while I'm wakeboarding. There actually needs to be some enforcement out there, enough with these verbal warnings, nobody keeps track of them. You know, start ticketing people.
yeah, unfortunately,
Everybody knows.
yeah, we can't
If you don't know the law by now, I'm
tell the
sorry.
police what to do. Right, I agree with you.
On that property and on the water itself, that's how I feel anyway.
Yeah, and I see a lot of things that happen on the water that shouldn't happen on the water, and, you know, like you say,
Every weekend I experience it.
yeah, I live on the lake too, and I see it every day, every single day. So,
There just needs to be more enforcement and actually
agreed,
fines, cause nobody's scared to come here, you know, they come here, oh, we're not gonna get fined, we're just gonna talk until.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I know, and sadly enough, I mean, I see other, you know, people come in with their little kids and swim at the, you know, down at the other end of the lake and. Awesome, but then you have the other, you know, so,
Enforcement, that's
Yeah.
the answer.
Yeah.
That is.
I think the no
enforcement.
alcohol thing is a big thing.
Yeah,
You know.
I mean, if that's on the CR, that should be enforced, I
Yeah.
mean.
Well, I mean, it's not
It's a
just
town
on the
bylaw.
CR, it's a town bylaw, there's no drinking in public.
Yeah.
That's a public space, so
Alright,
it's not just there, it's everywhere.
well, then it should be enforced, I mean, the
Right.
cops should be enforcing it then.
Right. Okay, anyone else? All right, we will move on.
Online,
Oh, sorry.
is there anyone online that wants to state a comment?
Didn't see any hands, but I can't see all the people either. I think we're good to go.
We're good for this?
All good?
Yep.
All right, okay, new business, update on 13 Berkshire land donation.
Small update on this. I reached out to, I guess you'd say our attorney to ask what the holdup was.
Mhm.
And I guess we're waiting for an audit to see if we can use the Conservation Trust Fund money.
How long is that gonna take?
I have no idea.
We put it for that, it's been
I let
6
them-
months since we put
Yeah.
in for that.
Yeah,
I think that's why Sabrina reached back out,
yeah,
but. I think even Carl weighed back in on it
yeah.
to see
Well,
what
it
was,
says
what was
right in
taking
there,
so
it's to
long,
preserve
right?
wetlands, that. It's written right into it's pretty obvious what it's for, so.
Yeah,
It shouldn't take them.
no, that's what I mean, he wrote to
Shouldn't take
see
'em 6
why is it
months to
taking
figure
so
that
long,
out,
yeah.
you know.
So where is this written? On what we can use that conservation.
Well,
trust?
you ask the auditors or ask the people that are questioning us where it's written, where they're getting their decisions from. Cause I was told back when Linda Carr was here. That we couldn't spend the money unless it was on wetlands,
Okay,
and this is definitely wetlands, so.
okay,
All right,
Who performs the audit?
I don't know. The auditor. This is like,
I don't,
State auditor,
I don't know, they
It's
just
in the
keep
accounting.
running around in circles with
Right.
us, they just,
but like,
Need to
you
get-
call the lawyer and he says he's waiting for an audit, but can we call the auditor and say,
Yeah.
you know, maybe the file fell off the desk already,
no, it could have by this time,
so, yeah.
right?
Maybe ask the lawyer who actually does the audit, we can give them a rank.
if that's a, Carl knows who is the auditor, because he's the one that reached out to him asking him what was going on.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't get any response on that.
That's that update.
But that goes through the accounting office.
Yeah.
They're the ones that approve it or disapprove it, and they're the ones that bring it to the auditor, so it's accounting, it's holding it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in our town hall.
Right here.
And wasn't that money put aside like back in 1980?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Granville Gorge.
Yeah.
Money was put aside.
I let them know, I'm like, this is, from my understanding, it was money left over from the Gorge acquisition.
Yeah, well, hopefully that money's still there.
It should be, it's still
It
in the
should be,
report,
but
it's
it-
still in the reports, we do
Yeah,
have
well,
it.
let's Make sure.
It's
we
just,
get it
I don't
out
know
of it before it
why
Disappears somewhere.
it's so hard for us to use it. So, that's that update.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to Sabrina and I, North Pond Conservation Area Walk with the Mass Fisheries and Wildlife. So if she has an update on the property and conditions.
Yeah. Last Monday, Jen Jones, who's the CR steward, asked me if I wanted to come along, and she was doing her annual walkthrough. And then Elizabeth Newland showed up. So it was the three of us and we walked along the property. I did make a little map just to show a little visual. I didn't take any pictures. I'm hoping that we can set up a site visit to go out there and have a look at everything. There's some positive and some negative. Let's see if I. I think this might be it.
Do we have to vote on these suggestions, or are these something that automatically goes through the fisherman?
The suggestions that I put
So
down,
these are
those
her,
are just
these are
my-
her notes.
those are
We
my
haven't
notes from
gotten-
the meeting.
Yeah, we haven't gotten anything from the state yet.
But we could vote on these suggestions to bring to the state.
Yeah, we could, absolutely.
I'd like to do
Let me
that.
just
Yeah.
try to figure out how to share. Okay. So, we walked the scenic trail. Along the shoreline down here, back up through here, and then, walked a little past the vernal pool. The first thing we did was go through the scenic area or the scenic trail. And we noticed that the area is very clean, and to me, it looked like more vegetation had been taken down to widen the path. But that's just from my visual. It looks like that there was an additional new trail put in, cleared out to have easier access down to the shoreline where the rope swings are. Over in the area where my mouse is, there is an increase of growth from the understory of the hemlocks. So that looks good. But as far as the ground over there, it's completely bare. And we went down to the shoreline and we had a look at the trees that are proposed to be cut down. The one tree that's hanging over the water, the front of it had snapped off. And then when we were out there, some boys with their mother and grandmother were out there and they went out in the tree. One boy jumped off and he, when he popped back out of the water, he did say to the younger boy, "Be careful and jump as far as you can because it's really shallow." So we noticed that there's some new evidence of fire pit activity up on the top of the hill. There was a hemlock that had been cut down. Moreover, by the rope swing areas, there was a tree that has been recently damaged by either like a handsaw or a machete or something. And there was low bush blueberry that had been ripped out of the ground recently. So vegetation is actively being messed with down there. And but surprisingly, through that walk, I hadn't seen any recent ATV activity. So there
That's good.
no motors, no dirt bikes, no quads, maybe like a regular bike trail from the tire.
Mhm.
And then we continue to walk along the shoreline. All of our signs that we put up, 4 signs that were up, that remained up last year, they are fine. They're still up.
Wow.
Surprisingly.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
they're
that's good.
posted, the rules are posted, they're out there. 1 over by the parking area, 2 over by, I call it South Beach now, or South Shoreline. And then one over by the vernal pool area. There was evidence of some more fire activity over down where the mouse is, and where all the boats like to park along the shoreline. I saw one little firework thing, so fireworks are being set off down there. There's a trail, the one trail that was deeply gullied and it was eroding. That we had like kind of put a tree over it on the top of the hill to kind of get people to not use the area. And then somebody else put a whole bunch of sticks down in that spot, so no one's utilizing that trail, so that's good. And then we continued to walk up the unapproved trail, and that does look like it's been used heavily with foot traffic. And then we went down to where the vernal pool is and also that other pond area, and I found out why there weren't any ATV activities because 3 trees are now down, 3 big trees, and they're blocking access from the neighbor Kirkpatrick and also any of the ATVs coming from the Lakewood Apartments. They can't pass right now.
Perfect.
I mean, that's great for us
Yeah.
in a way, but it's also blocking one of our trails. So I don't know what sort of management you want to do, but like I said, I think we should do.
Take a walk.
We should take a walk and have a look. I say clear out the vernal pool trail a little bit and kind of just throw all the brush over in the unapproved trail. Hopefully that will help us a little bit with the ATV activity. I had spoken with Jen and Elizabeth about our proposed plans to take down trees. They said they're fine with it. And they're willing to write a letter saying that they're fine with it.
Okay.
The state's fine with it. And speaking of the proposed trees being cut down, it looks like we did get funding through a different avenue, not through the finance
Not
committee,
the finance.
not the finance committee. Let me just stop sharing. Are there any questions in regards
Oh,
to
you want
this?
to say your proposals, your
Oh,
suggestions?
yeah, I can do that, but while I keep the map
The map.
up. So the red trails or the red lines are actually the unapproved trails, and that's what's going on right now. And then this brown one is the scenic, this green one is the main, and then the blue one is the vernal.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll just stop sharing for right now. So some suggestions. This was suggested by Jen and Elizabeth, and also just from me talking with other people. I did speak with the conservation coordinator from Westfield, and she gave me some of her words of wisdom, so I just kind of took all of that into, I don't know, into my mind. And then I wrote it down. So some suggestions were have the scenic trail be temporarily closed, either the entire trail or just sections of the trail. I think that's actually a good idea. We should just close off the whole entire scenic trail for erosion control management, habitat rehabilitation. And we can put either, I don't know, a snow fence or some type of barrier. And then down on the shoreline, put a symbolic fence along with a sign saying what we're doing. We probably should post specific signs saying do not climb, jump from, or swing from trees. Just be like very, very specific about that. There was a suggestion, and this was like before this weekend, so I mean, I think this is a really good suggestion, to having 8-car max policy for the parking area, along with numbering the parking spots, and hopefully that will help clear with overflow of parking, but that's only overflow of parking within the parking area. We can't necessarily do anything as far as parking along the streets or in Granada Circle. But then again, if we do temporarily close the scenic trail, that will be less of an incentive for people to actually come onto the property. There was a suggestion of dropping some of the trees actually in the water. And that will prevent like boats from coming up on shore to preserve native habitat. When we were down over by the rope swings, it was said that, so we have a turtle, it's called a musk turtle. It actually is a turtle that can climb trees, which I'm fascinated about. Yeah, right? And we have that turtle on the North Pond property, and their nesting habitat is the piles of debris that accumulate up along the shoreline. And what's happening right now is people are clearing the shoreline and they're getting rid of that debris that and when they get rid of that debris, they're getting rid of the nesting habitat for this really cute turtle. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. Also dropping some trees. So when I say dropping some trees, the trees that are earmarked to be cut down. So possibly dropping a tree or two trees down into the water, possibly dropping a tree or two trees down on the actual property itself, the land, to make that less
Desirable.
it's desirable to go hang out in that area. Thank you. And to allow for the undergrowth to finally start vegetating. What else do I have? Oh, and I had mentioned this before, that there had 3 trees had fallen over by the vernal pool trail. So clear the fallen tree branches over by the vernal pool trail only, throwing any of the debris in the unapproved trail to the neighbor's property in hopes to prevent further ATV access. So that's basically my summary of what I had seen on last Monday, and we will be getting something, like I said, from the state within the next few weeks. They just submitted a draft today. So. Questions, comments? Surprising, there wasn't really a lot of trash, and we went the Monday after the holiday, so
Yeah.
volunteers or
Normal's
whatnot,
over there.
yeah. Volunteers are just cleaning everything. I mean, there was some trash,
You know
but
it again.
it was not that bad as far as trash is concerned. I'm more concerned about the like the undergrowth, and just like, it's just bare now.
I'll put traffic will wear everything down.
Yes,
It's like a cow path, you know.
yes,
Well, if you got the grant to drop some trees, just drop them in the water, drop them on the shoreline, drop them. Deter people from,
okay. So should I contact, well, the last quote that we have, contact them and ask them to write up a little plan?
Yes,
for
we
them
do
to
need to see
present?
and approve a plan, right?
Yeah.
So that was a stipulation of
Yeah,
our approval, so we do need to see a plan. And maybe we can finalize a plan. If somebody comes to a meeting, we can discuss it together
Okay.
about what we want to
okay,
have happen.
okay. Yeah, maybe in the August 5th meeting. That's our next meeting.
Okay.
Bruce.
we could do a site visit between. them.
Yeah, yeah,
Take a look at, well,
Right.
that'd be great.
that's a great report.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see most of that. It looks pretty good. Thank you for.
I'm pretty excited about the ATV, the lack of ATV use out
Mhm.
there. That was very surprising for me. Yeah. Any
Good.
other,
There's the Flex Plant Grant Program, the one,
that's where we got our funding.
Yeah.
So that's from our insurance company,
okay,
town's insurance. And it's to remove any hazards so we don't get sued.
Oh,
Right.
all right.
yeah.
So that
Perfect.
was,
Perfect.
Miss Parker, she went after that grant for us.
Nice of her.
Yes,
Happy for that.
yes. Super duper.
Okey doke. Okay, chapter 61 property for sale offer, 64 Tannery Road, town right of first refusal review. I don't think this has actually been
Submitted.
submitted yet,
Has not. We have
so
not.
it's just for discussion tonight to get our perspective on use. Mr. Mastriani is here to speak on that.
Oh, I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay.
I don't know if you
Well,
want. me to give
can you give us an overview? I know Dave gave me one, but
Okay.
Can you
Very
please submit your name and address?
Christopher Mastriani,
Thank you.
60 Hillside Road. Just a quick background. I heard about the Southwood Land Trust during the publicity for the cleanup. And about a week or so later, my wife and I were driving down Tannery Road and we saw the for sale sign. And one of us made a joke, oh, we should buy that and then somehow get it into the hands of the Southwick Land Trust. So as we were walking on the rail trail with our dog, we said, gee, we should really try to do that. So I contacted Marissa and had some discussions back and forth, and then there was a site visit. Sabrina was there, and so we trying to kind of moved it along. Dave McWilliams is acting as the realtor. So at the moment, we have a signed offer sheet for from the seller and from an accepted offer. So the deposit for that has been paid, and we're waiting for a date for a purchase and sale agreement to be issued, but I think that's probably delayed by the 61A. So that's kind of where we are. We gotta shepherd this through the 61A process, through all the different people that need to see it and sign off on it. And then we will go ahead and purchase the property, sit on it until Southwick Land Trust is able to fundraise and finance it, and then sell it to them.
And they're planning on keeping it in 61A. But the reason this has to be done through the 61A removal is because 61A cannot be transferred through the deed. It has to be reapplied for. So it's coming out first and then going back in. So that's why this process has to be followed. So boards get 120 days to follow the process, or to make sure that they have enough time to meet and discuss as a board whether or not they want to see this, they don't want to take the land. In this case, they want it to go through a little quicker than 120 days, so they're trying to move this along a little bit faster than, because they haven't even applied for the, started the process really rolling it. But we've been informed that that's what wants to happen. So I think as a board, we can make a decision without there being a formal process.
Yeah, just no interest. If the land trust is you're gonna buy it, then
Yeah.
we have no interest in exercising the right of first refusal.
Correct.
Right.
Now, is that a motion, Dennis?
That's a motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Andy, I.
Dennis, I.
Chris, I.
Norm, I.
Okay, so
The letter to.
one of us is done. One board.
I'll check that off the new checklist.
Okay, yes. Yeah, we were at a meeting last week about this whole chapter 61A removal. So we know that there's it's not really a new process, but it's a more formalized process that the town is going to undergo. So
Okay.
appreciate you bringing it forward to us, and
I think Dave is gonna take the initiative of getting this through, but I'm always available to answer any.
Appreciate it.
questions.
and thank you, actually, yeah,
Thanks, Chris.
appreciate your donation.
All right.
Or not donation, but, yeah. Okay. We can move on to old business, 13 North Pond, review minor changes to proposed projects. I need an updated plan.
So Ryan.
I saw Ryan here earlier.
Whenever you want, Ryan, you can take over.
All right, hello everyone, Ryan Nelson from Arlevec Associates. I would attempt to share my screen, but it says it's disabled.
Oh,
Um,
let me see.
Mhm.
Can you do it now?
Yes, yep.
Okay, sorry.
All right, so everyone, thank you for bearing with us on this project. I know it's been many years, but we're finally coming to start of construction here. So last time we met, we discussed some changes that we were proposing to the waterfront, which the commission seemed okay with. Chiefly that we would be replacing this large formerly block retaining wall around the walkout basement side of the house with a steel sheet piling to act as a retaining wall. The walkway looping around down to the waterfront would essentially stay the same, but we would be doing a wood or a composite decking above grade that would set on posts on grade. So no longer doing a hardscape down by the waterfront. the discussion of vinyl sheet piling came up. We did some coordination with the contractor and how that would be done. So I've updated the plan as before to show vinyl sheet piling that would be installed prior to any excavation occurring. That would be left exposed above grade to act as a erosion control barrier. And then that would stay in place during the duration of the project. The way that sheet piling gets installed is there's a vibratory attachment on an excavator that would drive the sheets into place. So there may have to be a access plateau or kind of a rampart cut into the hillside so that the excavator can set up and probably work from this end and then work its way out. And that would be the sequence of that. This did add a significant cost to the project, approximately about $50,000 worth to install that. However, the project applicant is, I guess, okay with that. He gave us the green light to just do it. So one thing we did want to make the commission aware of was that typically on a vinyl sheet piling wall, there would be tiebacks, as most retaining walls do. But in this case, we feel that that would be a much greater disturbance to that section of the slope. So we, at the recommendation of the contractor, are proposing to install that sheet piling without tiebacks because it's not acting as a retaining structure for any build that's going to be placed behind it. It's more for just erosion control. So that, like I said, that's been updated to the plan. And then sheet 2, we have the detail from the first go around is back on the plan set. So happy to answer any questions the commission might have.
Ryan, how long would it take for them to put that sheet piling in on the bottom?
He said less than 2 weeks.
They just be doing one section at a time, like did he make that whole rampart first before he did the entire thing, or can he do it bit by bit?
He would make the rampart first and then start at this end and work their way out, and I would assume repairing the slope as they go.
Right.
So we already voted on this at the last meeting to approve this as a minor change.
Yeah, Brian, I thought you guys had some other suggestions that
Yeah.
weren't the vinyl.
Some other ideas that were brought up were doing multiple tiers of straw wattle or silt fencing along the hillside. Let's just share some pictures of, let's see here. So this was from today. I took some pictures on my way home. You can see there's straw bales, silt fence entrenched on the downhill side. And the contractor had grubbed the area in anticipation of installing the sheet piling because the roots would get in the way. They immediately seeded it, erosion control blanketing, and various, overlapping layers of straw wattle, and that seems to be holding really well and is growing up. So they thought maybe this would just be sufficient, because that upper retaining wall, the actual steel sheet piling is occurring up here, and the rest down below would mostly be above grade deck, with less disturbance than what was formerly proposed. So that was an idea. Another idea was there's a product that has steel mesh reinforced silt fence. And we could use that on the downhill side. That would be less likely to blow out when water accumulates behind it. So that was another idea as well.
Yeah, I think we should stick with the original idea. We'd have to do more research on all the other stuff, but I
Yeah.
think
It's the safety.
he's already agreed to it. Let's stick to what we already approved. Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. Yep.
So do you need another motion or is
Why
that
don't we just do that, just to make sure?
just to make sure?
Make a motion
yeah.
to accept the proposal to have the steel.
Vinyl,
Is it vinyl?
Yeah.
vinyl at the bottom, yeah.
Okay, vinyl at the bottom done. To prevent any erosion.
So
I'm looking
it'd be
for,
like the original plan, but with less impact because what they're
Right.
doing on the top, so.
correct, and we did say that they could cut it to grade after they were done with the project,
Exactly.
so. I'll take a second on that.
Second,
All in favor?
Andy,
Dennis, I.
Chris, I.
Norm, I.
Moment, I.
And now we're all on the same page on vinyl sheet planking. Do you still want to go out for a site visit?
Well, you
To
should.
check it out? Yeah, I'll do the
you let us
pre-construction.
know if
Yeah,
you
it's
can
just,
make
that's
it.
what was holding me up was that.
Yeah.
You guys wanted the vinyl, and they weren't,
Good.
there was some, I don't know, miscommunication.
We're all
or
good now.
something.
Yeah.
Good to go.
All right, so,
All right.
Ryan, we'll set
Communicated.
something up later.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ryan, for coming in.
Thanks. I got one more item, but I'll just hang around until you guys have an opening.
Okay, that sounds good.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you.
Sam
we
West?
Do it under, no, it's not Sam West,
No.
off my head, but I said.
We'll talk about it later then.
Other matters.
All right.
The other
We're
under.
gonna move on to Lucas.
Oh.
You're next. You're the winner.
Alrighty, well, I brought in.
Oh, you have to say your name.
Oh, yes.
address, formal.
Lucas Karen, 148 Hillside Road.
Thank you.
I brought in the proof for one of the forest bathing signs. So we changed it to a more greenish color for the font. Where would you
Yeah.
like me to hold it for like, yeah, it's just like, oh, wrong side. And we also put the town's logo on it so that it's more
Nice.
clear.
Mhm.
Besides that, more or less what you saw at the last meeting. We might also put some like pictures on them for like some of the other ones. We didn't have all of those done, so we weren't gonna
Okay,
put one of those on yet. But besides that, that is,
I think the font looks nice and clear. It's big enough. It's,
Do we put those symbols up there?
that's the kanji for Shinrin Yoku in Japanese.
It says.
So it means
Shinrin-yoku.
forest-
It's okay.
It's nothing bad. don't worry.
make sure.
somebody's gonna Google that later and say, hey.
Southwick's promoting slurs? Oh, no. But yeah, and
Okay.
also, I did not actually tell anyone about this. Well, I told Sabrina, but as of tomorrow, Southwood's newest issue is coming out. And I wrote an article about Shinrin Yoku.
Oh,
I don't think I have enough, so
We'll share here. We can share.
I figured I'd let you guys have a read.
Where'd you get these pictures?
I think Martin made them.
No way. You tell. Love
He's great at what he does.
that.
But yeah, that'll be out tomorrow, and it's also the front story, so it's on the cover and everything. I didn't have a picture of that, but I think it looks pretty good.
And we really.
Beautiful.
We really need to fall through this. Is that the size of the actual sign?
Yes, this will be how big they are.
All of them?
Yeah,
Gee.
this one in
That's what it
specific. This one is the front one, so we'll have this. Do you want it like on that? I know they have like a kiosk that's there. Would you like that there or closer to like where we plan on having
Yes.
this trail?
Maybe yes and yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes,
yes.
Are the rest of them going on metal poles?
Well, we're thinking either something like that or out there throughout the trail, there are a lot of like poles already out
poles.
with the different trail sign markers.
yeah,
So we might
Put
be able
them
to
right
stick
on
them
that,
there.
Yeah.
We want to avoid putting them on trees or something because
No, right.
it's all about promoting nature. That
Right.
could hurt it. So
Yeah. Is there a way we could get this on our website or on our
Oh, yeah.
Facebook page or?
Or both?
absolutely.
Go ahead.
That would be
and
nice.
post
I
that.
just wanna have permission, you know.
Oh,
We
of
have
course.
to-
Yeah. I don't think they'll have any problem with that.
Okay.
I'll talk to them. I think it'll just be a matter of, sending it to you or whoever runs the.
I wanna make
the
sure we
website.
don't get any trouble for,
I don't like getting in
Hey,
trouble.
Marty.
trade, yeah, exactly,
Yeah, right.
Martin infringement,
I don't wanna get in trouble.
so.
Awesome.
find out, for let her know,
Alrighty,
and make it happen.
yeah, I have no doubt.
Thank you very much.
Of course,
Appreciate it.
would you like to hold on to this just as
That'd
like,
be nice, yeah.
Yeah.
We can actually post that up somewhere in the land use room maybe for now, just to,
yeah. So everyone
So
has
people-
like a good
yeah.
idea.
yeah, that'd be
Okay.
very nice. Appreciate it.
And I'm hoping, would you like me to come to the next meeting, maybe with like prices?
That'd be
or
great,
something
yeah.
like
I
that?
always want you to come to the next meeting.
Forward progress.
Thank you.
I
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. All right, Lucas. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
Well, of course, thank you. Thank you for allowing
Let's
me to do
continue
this.
this.
Yeah, I'll be around for another month or so, so
Okay.
we're gonna
You
get
can
this
always
done.
do when you're in
Exactly.
college.
There you
Zooming
go.
back in, making sure this works out.
Excellent.
Committed.
Alrighty. Have a great one, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have North Loomis Street Wildlife Management Area. We have Emerald Ash Borer infected trees, neighbor mowing. We had possible enforcement order. The state was out there.
No enforcement
No
order,
enforcement order?
just a cease and desist on the mowing, and I sent them a letter saying that if they do wanna take down the trees. Either on the wildlife management area or their property, they're so close to the stream that they need to do an RDA. So,
Is that the one where they have to get an arborist to, okay.
on the wildlife
To
management,
certify.
certified
Yeah.
arborist, fully insured, if they wanna take down the trees.
Okay,
Do you want me to strike that off, or, cause I haven't gotten anything from the
Yeah.
neighbor, any further
yeah, we
information?
can take that off until further notice.
Until further notice. Did you want to talk about, Noble Steed 292-0280? We have Jeff here, and an update, they had their 401 water quality.
Where is he? I
pre-
don't see him.
He's here, he's physically.
Oh
here.
my God. Why does he look different? Hi, Jeff. Would you like to come up? Is it the hat? Maybe it's that. No be- That's what it is, the beard, the no beard.
Barely recognize them.
I don't know
I
what you
think
guys are
at the
talking
last
about.
meeting, we asked to get a copy of the application for the 401 water quality certification, because we see that you said you applied for it, but we'd like to see the application
Right.
itself.
Not quite there yet.
So we don't, you haven't actually applied for it.
We're in the process.
You've been in the process for.
Okay, so I'll just tell you where we're going. All right,
Name and.
Jeff Smith, Salvini Associates, and this is for Noble Steed. Okay, so we've been working with the Division of Water Pollution. It's a separate division from wetlands. Okay, that's what the 401 water quality
Is that a
certificate.
federal thing?
No, it's
No?
state. And they work in coordination with the Army Corps of Engineers. So this is a separate process and it's convoluted,
Right, so nobody wants to go through it. huh?
Mhm.
yeah. But we have, we're working with the gentleman from the DEP. We tentatively have a meeting, on-site meeting next Wednesday.
Oh,
So,
you guys are invited to that. What time?
well, I said 10 o'clock was good for me.
Okay.
And I hope, that-
Wednesday at 10 AM.
well, Tom did not come back and confirm it.
Okay.
So,
Let us know.
Yeah,
I'm pretty much available.
This Wednesday or next? The
Next
following-
Wednesday, the
following
24th.
Wednesday.
the 24th of July, next Wednesday, yes. Yeah.
tentative.
So, and we did have a Zoom meeting last
Mhm.
Wednesday where we talked with Tom and Mike McCall, also with water pollution. Just to try to get things in order. So that's where that stands. Initially, I had thought that this might be something that could go through concurrently and we would be able to get to work earlier. It does not sound like that, but Tom did say that once he gets the application, which at the earliest it can go in is 30 days after our pre-app meeting, which was last Wednesday. So we're looking at the beginning of August to get that in. He said it could be 30 days to maybe a little more than a month to review that. So we're into September. And we haven't seen the plans. The engineer has started on it. We're coming up with three alternatives. We have the initial plan, which we'll use as one of the alternatives. And, sorry, I just
And that's the
realized my hat was on.
It's
That's
okay.
okay.
gas culvert, no?
It's not gonna be it's not gonna be precast. No, it's gonna be. Oh, we haven't determined specifically what it will be. Right now, they're thinking it looks like a stream, and so we have to go through the determination that it is not a stream. So I'm out there taking pictures every day, showing no flow, but now I hear today we're going into a drought situation, so,
Well, that doesn't help.
so,
Right.
tomorrow.
Andy
will-
knows that.
Yeah, that's the squash too.
Tomorrow will be the fifth.
So that makes a difference in what the crossing is gonna be,
Well, yeah, because
bottomless.
if they
or-
determine that it is a stream, then we have to meet the Massachusetts stream crossing
Openness ratio.
openness
Yeah.
ratio, yep.
2+1.
Bank full 1.2.
We never thought it was a stream, though, it was never designated.
Or
as
It's,
a-
bank plus
it's
two.
not
Designated as a
mapped
stream.
as a stream. It doesn't have a watershed large enough to even be an intermittent stream.
Right,
So,
just connects
but
wetlands.
it's a hydrologic connection between a couple of wetlands.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a bank, a formed bank. It doesn't. So anyways, but this is what needs to be done.
Mhm.
That is- So.
So if
that's-
it's not, a stream, then you could use the precast.
Well, we're not. Yes, we could. We're gonna try to do it with a culvert or possibly an open bottom, but
Okay.
I don't wanna speak out of turn because that's the engineer's work and it's not my say.
Here,
So,
one step at a time.
Right.
yes. Okay, so I did redelineate the wetland area upstream, downstream. I delineated it as one wetland through there. I think initially it was separate.
Yeah.
So it's one wetland. I also flagged the area where we plan to do the mitigation work. And we'll see how many square feet I have flagged out so that we know, once we see the plans, what the engineer has come up with, we'll know what we have for square footage impact and we'll know how much we have set aside for mitigation and we can work from there beforehand without finding out at the last minute we don't have enough space. I also flagged out kind of an ingress and an egress on the mitigation, so they can kind of work in and out without having people trying to come down and then go back out and try to plan on, when you excavate, you're gonna have to take some stuff out so we can have it so trucks can go out this way and people can work in this way. Just trying to think things through ahead of time. We did a topo survey on it, so we have all the elevations and we're gonna try to work on possibly, changing the slope on the east side so that it carries further up the hill. It might make the road slope steeper, but it will allow the crossing to be lower and closer to the current elevation so that we don't have to have such a wide embankment on each side of the road, and that will shorten up the stream length. Even I just call it a stream. it's
Right.
not a Stream.
The
The ditch. Anyway, all right, so we did that, scheduled that, still doing the erosion sediment. There's some work to be done there. I went over that with Jesse, Salt Marsh. This morning. And he's gonna get out there and work on that. I think I've covered everything.
Jeff, I think Sabrina had a concern about the replication area, access to that.
Yes, so that's, I think it's lot 15, and I did confirm that with Jesse, that will be accessible for this work. And I specifically picked 2 points so that one of them is further in the driveway so that there's plenty of room to work there. So we're not crunched right up against one end of it while they're trying to build a house or something.
So
The
you're
house
good?
is quite a ways back from,
You're good with that, Sabrina? You're good enough to be able to sign off on this stuff now, or is it? still a
Yeah,
problem?
once it comes back across my desk, it wasn't approvable before though. So that's not us, that's Board of.
Did I see an email that said something about that should be replicated before the construction on that home as well, or?
concurrent, right? It said concurrent
Well,
with the,
concurrent with the construction of the
Construction.
crossing is
That's a good
how I
point.
would do
Yeah.
it, so that we're not trying to go in afterwards, because I think we know historically that sometimes things get pushed down the road,
mm,
so I want the wetland work,
the same
the
time.
mitigation to be done right there at the same time. For one thing, if you're taking soil out of the crossing area,
Yeah.
you can reuse it in the
Reuse it.
mitigation area, so. Although I don't know how strongly hydric a lot of that is, a lot of it is sediment, so.
Been washed in there.
Yeah, so, anyways, I think I've covered everything on that.
Okay.
Sounds good, so.
And you got eyes on the project now, so.
Did you move in? You moved in?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Couple of weeks, yeah.
Any
All right.
questions?
Oh, I think we're good, Jeff. Thank you
Oh,
for
thank you
coming
very
in.
much.
Yeah.
Very informative.
Trying
Keep up the good work.
to move it as fast as we can, but this is how things go sometimes.
No, we understand that too, but.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All righty,
Good evening.
See you possibly next week.
Yeah.
10 o'clock, Wednesday morning.
Thank you.
Okay, we have on our old business, some permitted work at 114 Berkshire Ave, possible violation. I have spoken to the person who was accused. He said he did not do anything over there. And we also have an email from Mr. Davenport, who also says there was nothing done there, that there were pavers or blocks put there. You're the neighbor. You wanna come up?
Sure.
Why don't you say your name and address?
David, 114 Berkshire Ave.
Come on up. He said those have been there for 20 years,
15 years
15
anyway.
years,
Yeah.
so that was not new work.
No. I think James sent an email to you.
Yeah, we got
Some
it.
guy.
I just actually.
So in the
gonna read that.
pictures, you can see
Yeah.
that the blocks are like piled in a corner.
Okay.
Spot, yeah.
Yeah, I can see those there.
And then what happened was, as dirt was getting moved around, they got pushed further and further over to the other side of the yard. And they needed a place to put the dirt, so I said, that's fine, just put it there.
Yeah.
And then eventually the brunt of it or whatever went back. But-
So they,
So what we
so
did.
you're
is-
being a good neighbor, letting him.
Yeah, and I get
borrow
caught in a, well, that's not a good term to use
That'll
right
teach
now
you.
after a Saturday, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Caught in the crosshairs, but
Yeah,
any rate,
okay,
so my son and I put the block back in there because there wasn't really much vegetation per se there.
mhm,
It was, like, I like to put some, I forget what you call those things, those bushes, kind of tree things.
Arborvitae.
Arborvitae, thank you, I'm not good at that stuff.
Yeah.
The person that was moved out, but anyway, so. So, but anyway, I like to put some of those in there, and on the other side, I like them.
okay,
And some other ground stuff in there to help hold the dirt, but eventually I would like to put a wall in there, but temporarily, because I had all those blocks down and we kind of set them in there. Just in case any dirt was to wash down until something's planted in there, since then the Davenport's put in,
that's not a formal wall, it's just a,
it's
blocks
just
that-
sitting there, we
blocks
just
that
set
have
the
been
blocks
sitting there
down
for-
and yeah. I can guarantee for 15 years, cause I know
Yeah.
it since '09.
one of your neighbors also told me the same story about them being there for, he said 20 years, so.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, it's somewhere around there. But,
people exaggerate, but we
well,
appreciate you coming in and we're sorry if we've caused you any.
yeah, that's no
Norm,
problem.
you have something to say?
I do have something.
Okay.
I have another picture to show.
All right.
All right.
Oh, you should be able to. Yeah, I have multiple participants can share.
Okay.
Alright, so do this one first. Sure.
Or that.
Okay, so this is the picture that we've all seen before, and you can see all the dirt that's here and the erosion that's taken place. Okay, so that's this year. Just so happens I have a picture from 2022 when I did the pictures of the ball docks and boats on the lake. And I have that one to show you. And that one didn't, I got to share first. Stop share. And share again. Okay, so this one is from 2022. So you can see there was all the shrubbery in here. And that's what's, all that's gone now. And,
It was mainly prickers and,
well,
but whatever.
still, we had something that was absorbing the water and keeping the erosion from not happening. And as far as I'm concerned, Mr. Davenport, if he had to change, destroy this, he should have come forward to us for permission. And should have been a silt fence put up. Those are the trees that are gone. Okay. So there was activity there, it was substantial.
Yeah, but it wasn't who we thought did it.
Well, it's
And
true.
It wasn't,
agree.
it wasn't what we thought had happened, but
Right,
Mr. Davenport did say that he was in the process through his email saying that he was willing to repair that area.
Yeah.
Um,
I believe in whatever was written down or discussed or whatever, that, like, part of the deal was if you need to use my property, it's supposed to be restored to the same or better than what it was. So, and they've been great, I mean, as far as,
Yeah.
you know, doing stuff. I mean, his wife's out there all the time.
There, yeah.
So that's what we'll be looking for, is the restoration of that area for, yeah.
Right,
But if you do want to do a wall, come see us.
right.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Well, I know Mr. Davenport, you know, he said he'd give me a hand with
yeah.
whatever
Well,
paperwork,
Sabrina will
whatever
too.
the process of
Yeah.
doing that is. So,
So
All
I
right.
appreciate you very much coming in.
all right, no problem. Yep, thank you.
Have a good night.
All right, yeah, you too.
Okay, we have some-
great neighbors, they came down.
I know.
That
Okay.
was fun.
Yeah, some proposed amendments to local permitting program requested by the select board and the chief of police, harbor master. Diane Gale moved this forward, is sending it to the states, to DEP for approval. Any word on the,
yeah, I went to the select board meeting,
mhm,
and they decided to split the action items. They're submitting the hardship changes that we made. And they're sending a letter back to us saying that they recommend we go forward with the rental property issue.
of course.
We the conservation?
Yes,
Yeah.
so it's coming back to us for part of
Okay,
it.
all right, you can want to continue the Suffield LPP contracts? You have any information on that, Norm? Did you go to the meeting with Jason?
They had a surprise meeting that I did not know about.
Okay, that's the way it happens
But,
sometimes.
Didn't tell you.
I've been monitoring the Suffield, agendas, but all of a sudden it just came up very quickly, and Jason went, I didn't. And I believe most of the issues have been resolved. Except they want an independent body to witness the inventory of docks and boats in Connecticut.
Right,
Cause I had sent a letter through Jason to the select board over there saying that they had independent people. They had Scott Graves from Suffield and Mike from Suffield. That covered the Connecticut border.
Yeah.
That wasn't sufficient. They wanted independent.
Yeah.
So at the lake management meeting last Thursday, we assigned inventory to start because we didn't want to delay because their next meeting isn't until August 15th. So we're gonna do an
Okay.
inventory without them. Yeah.
well, it's good to see if they dive, you know, hopefully. All right. Any Concom meetings you've been to, Norm? That
No,
all of us?
Next one's on the 23rd.
All right,
Where I'll be taking exception to you plan to store snow just feet from the lake.
Yeah.
That's planned activity.
Mhm.
So,
Not a good plan.
Appreciate that. Okay, Granville Gorge kiosk roof, any word?
No.
Let's take that off until we have more.
I ran into Brian the other day and he said he's working on it.
Is he? Okay.
Have it done before the winter.
Right,
I reminded him, he needs to get in touch with Sabrina. So.
yeah, well, thank you, Dennis.
Kevin's doing it?
Mm,
Isn't he doing, is Kevin doing the work? No?
I believe you guys said
Yeah.
that he was in charge when he wasn't here in the meeting for that. He was nominated because he wasn't here.
Oh,
No.
Or he also had suggestions too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had suggestions on where to get it.
He also
but-
said he had roofing material.
Yeah.
I have
Chris has
roofing
it.
material, but it's not green.
What color?
Not green.
Doesn't
This is
matter.
just the silver.
It's
There you go.
fine.
What kind of
Get
shingles?
rid of that. No, the metal roofing. Yeah. 2 20-foot sheets,
No.
3
Chef says
20-foot
do it.
sheets.
He says.
Oh, believe me, I have permission.
take-
Uh-huh, okay.
Scratch that off then.
Donate. Okay. 107 South Loomis Street, possible wetland violation.
There's no, there's
Okay.
nothing.
Check that off then.
Okay.
31 Sam West Road, any information from that?
Ryan, can you speak on behalf of this?
Did he leave? No, he's still there?
Oh, I'm still here. I haven't heard from the property owner what the status is, if they did the work this spring or not, or the summer. Not sure.
Okay,
So there was a due date. Everything needed to be done at the latest by mid-June, I think June 17th. That was specified, so let's hope. Let's get things just got done.
and up there, inspection.
Yeah,
All right,
matters for Ryan as well, unless someone else wants to. Does anyone else have anything? Okay, Ryan, floor is yours. Again.
Okay, thanks. Let me switch gears here. All right, so we have a client of ours that is looking to purchase a piece of property on Tannery Road in Southwick. This is a lot that used to be part of Chet Soborski's property off of Concord Road. So this would be the other frontage that is on Tannery Road. You can see this is the property line right here. It's just shy of an acre. And there's a wetland boundary right here that we had delineated and surveyed a few years ago. And that imparts the 50-foot buffer zone is located right here. And the 100-foot buffer zone is located right here. One of the hurdles we're finding with this lot is the distance between the front zoning building setback, this line here of 75 feet from the street, to the 50-foot buffer is pretty narrow. It's like 22 feet is the minimum distance here. So just barely wide enough for a garage, but not really any site work to actually construct it on the back side. So the prospective buyer acknowledges that, you know, a custom house could probably be built over here, shifted to the right within the setbacks. But it'd have to be very custom layout to contour around that 50-foot wetland buffer. So one proposal that we wanted to ask the commission if they'd be willing to entertain before we went ahead with submitting a notice of intent was there's an existing mowed lawn area back here on the property that is within the buffer zone. And the future buyer is willing to restore that to natural forest, do plantings and letting it revert in exchange for potentially allowing alteration with creation of a backyard around the back side of the house within the 50-foot buffer. So I informed the client of your wetlands protection bylaw and what the rules say. But they wanted to exhaust all avenues before making a decision on the property, so just looking to get commission's feedback if they have any.
Saying this.
Can't they reconfigure that house so that they can have a backyard and? Why is it configured?
I mean, so it's, the house is only shown 30 feet wide, and even shifting it over to the right, there would still be some 50-foot disturbance. It's not a
But if
great,
they moved it over
great
to the
deal.
right, they would have the already disturbed area for yard. They wouldn't have to disturb
Substitute.
wetland area now. You know how hard it is to restore wetland vegetation. It's not,
Yeah, this would be upland upland area, but within the buffer zone.
In the outer 100.
And this is just an approximation. We can make the area greater if need be.
So this is the 50. Sorry, Ryan, I'm just showing in the map.
Yep.
This is the 50 right here.
They've got.
And then
going
this is
right
the
through
100.
Wetland though, I mean.
Well,
It shows that line going through the wetland, right?
yeah.
What, hold on.
It's the 50-foot buffer here?
That's the 50-foot.
Okay, so this is the.
And so,
Wetlands
wetlands
here.
up there, and the areas with the crosses are either the mitigation or the area that they want to, I guess, clear, right? I can't really
Correct.
read the note.
Yep.
The house is about 2,000 square feet. My initial suggestion was can you make it smaller and scoot it over to the right? Just from looking at it briefly.
Why can't they move it closer to the road?
75.
I mean, they might be able to ask
Could get
for
a variance on
or
that.
a variance on the setback.
That's 100-foot.
So they could move it closer to the road, they could have a backyard.
Yeah, I think they moved that house. Moved over here. Probably go that way.
Maybe see if they can.
Right.
Get a variance, but I think this is all before the person even purchases the property.
Gonna naturalize this.
The upper part.
Not the same.
All right.
Up here is where they want to.
As well.
I don't,
That's set with the septic.
that's a D box and the septic over there.
Alright.
Yeah. So there'd be gradings as well.
2 weeks for that chicken.
But I think there's a limit of work already.
I don't know. They're looking, I'd be looking for alternatives.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that's the best plan.
I agree.
Right.
Back to the drawing board.
All right, tribe has spoken, noted, thanks. All right, I'll let the client know. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. I see we have 2 visitors in the back. Do you have anything you'd like to say before we close? Okay, okay,
Okay.
all right.
We have erosion control report for a reason.
Oh, yeah, that's from Jeff, and I figured I'd just throw it in there since we had a
Oh, that
short
was-
meeting, maybe you wanted to look at it.
That's from Jeff, that's not yours?
This from Jeff, yeah, so there's, on one side it is, 72 Mort Vining, or 72A Mort Vining, I think was the house. Right
Okay,
next to, was it Art Pennell's old house, and then on the other side is the subdivision. And in the area in which we had like a little bit of issue with, erosion and like water constantly flowing.
across the backyard.
The backyard, yeah, the access way, so.
Yeah.
I figured I'd just throw that in there
Excellent.
for you guys for some reading material.
All right,
Things look good, Jeff's doing a good job of monitoring that.
that's good. Seems like he's out straight, so. All right, I will now take a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I have a question. And I don't want, I do. So everything that was said so far, Has the town ever considered looking at what other towns do with situations like this, number one? Two,
Are you talking about North Pond?
yeah,
Yeah.
have they considered maybe hiring a seasonal park ranger type of character person that has the authority to cut tickets? And is an official, and is a townie and is so legit,
Yeah,
and they could be patrolling all the parks. Throughout the
Right.
place, I mean, we have Sokonovsky and everything else,
Granville, Granville,
yeah,
Gorge.
yeah, the Granville Gorge is also a kind of a place.
Yeah.
Like some sort of a park official
Right,
that we don't have,
Areas have been shut down.
right. We don't want,
Surrounding towns.
yeah,
yeah,
we try to like to avoid doing that. If that's what has to happen, then
I'd like to talk to you about after the meeting.
sure. But the,
so that was just a couple of comments, just to kind of mull over and think about maybe till next meeting or something.
Yeah,
And,
enforcement is definitely
You know,
key issue here.
Because I mean, cops can't be everywhere all the time for everything.
yeah, so I
We
think
know
a
that.
designated person for those areas might be a way to
Yeah,
Yeah,
circumvent that problem.
and it could be seasonal,
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
seasonal.
yeah,
All of
and it
us.
could be just weekends.
Yeah.
Because I think that's when everything happens.
I think all of us have been in
Sorry.
Southwick long enough to remember that ATV riding used to be a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was pursued and made so aggravating that it stopped.
Right, right.
And
Like
that,
the rail
the
trail,
folks that
Yeah.
got in that scuffle over the weekend were not necessarily aggravated to the point where they dissuaded.
Right, they were let go
That's-
pretty much.
Right.
Right.
Even to be detained for a couple hours
Yeah.
Right.
until the videos were seen to say, oh, you're going downtown, the rest of you can go home.
You
Everybody.
can't get away with that. You just can't do that.
Yeah.
Not in
Right.
this civilization, you can't do that.
All right.
There's a motion on the table.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye, Andy, aye.
Aye,
Side.
everybody's aye? Aye.